Hey guys, welcome back. So today for the deck highlight, I have a buff everything. This is how I'm calling it, the a buff everything deck list, which is kind of like a new archetype, and it uses the new card that just released, which is Lady Deathstrike. So quickly, what does Lady Deathstrike do? She's a 5/3. I have here on screen right now, which has an on reveal. Destroy each card here with less power than this. So, obviously, to trigger her effect with as much value as possible, you're going to need to buff her in any way. By just a single power would be good. But if you can double her power, her effect can just become really crazy. But unfortunately, she's not good enough to just be played by herself with all those other buff cards. Because in some matchups, she's just not going to be useful at all. So she's being fitted in this list, which also gets a lot of advantage from buffing our cards, such as cards Brood or Black Panther, which both get a tremendous buff from a single power buff from cards like Okoye, Forge, Nakia, and stuff like that. So I'll jump into the deck breakdown, but before I do so, please, if you guys enjoy the content, please leave a like and subscribe. Most of you guys watching are not even subscribed to the channel, so yeah, just hit subscribe. It's free. It helps me out a lot. I'm trying to reach 1K. But yeah, let's get into it. So the first card in our deck is Forge. So we don't have any one cost. The first card is Forge. So skip your first turn. But yeah, Forge, a 2/1 gives the next card you play plus 2 power, right? So the whole main idea is obviously we could play our Forge into our Black Panther to bring it to 5/6, which goes to 5/12. We could obviously give it to Lady Deathstrike, the new card, and destroy some 4 power cards with Forge. But we also have the possibility of playing Forge into Brood. So this is probably the best play pattern if you have Forge on 2. And you can play your Brood on 3. This is just crazy. It's 12 power for 3 with Forge. So Forge into Brood, Forge on 2, Brood on 3. It's just freaking crazy. But yeah, if you don't have anything, but you have some other cards, you're probably not going to end up playing your Forge anyway. So you're better off playing your Forge on turn 2, even if you don't. Even if you want to hold it for a later turn, you're better off playing him on turn 2. Even if you play it into like a Nakia or Electra or whatnot, it's still 2/3, right? So if you drop it, it's still 2/3, and sometimes it can have some value, right? So if you have like a Vormir, you could play in Vormir, which he's gonna die in Vormir. But you're still transferring that 2 power to another card, so it's pretty good. And also, if you play it on turn 2, you might draw your Brood on turn 3, and yeah, it's that's why you have to play it on turn 2. Next card is Okoye, right? So you have Okoye here, which is on reveal, give every card in your deck plus 1 power. So this is great, especially if you don't have your Brood, especially if you don't have your Black Panther, your Lady Deathstrike in your hand. Well, your Okoye is going to give it a +1 in your deck, and then once you draw it, you're already going to have that buff, which is really important because sometimes you're going to draw your Black Panther, let's say on turn 5, and it already has like a +1 power, which is really good, right? So okay, really good. If you have all the cards that benefit the most from the buff, like what I mentioned, Lady Deathstrike, Brood, and Black Panther, well, then she loses value, and maybe if you can play something else, it would be better, right? So we have Nakia, which would be the opposite to her. So if you have all your cards in hand, well, Nakia gets a lot more value. But we're going to get there in just a minute. We have Brood. So like I mentioned, Brood is one of the best targets for all of the buffs. Forge into Brood. You have Okoye into Brood, Nakia into Brood. All of these are just fantastic. So Brood adds 2 Broodlings, which have the same power as the main Brood. So if you have 3/4, well, then you're going to have 3/4s on the board at a location, which is just crazy. We have Electro here in our deck. It's not necessary to always play Electro, but Electro allows us to play something like Electro on 3, Black Panther on 4, Artemis on 5, and I don't know, Magneto on 6, or whatever you want to play on turn 6. Magneto is also good because it allows us to play Electro into Lady Deathstrike on 4, which is going to destroy our Electro and destroy presumably like the Angela or any cards like that are 2 power or less, right? So from your opponent, so it's a pretty good play pattern. So yeah, Electro into Lady Deathstrike, Electro into Black Panther to Arnim Zola. Yeah, very, very good Electro. Electro could be switched, honestly, if you really want to. But yeah, next up, Nakia. So I mentioned earlier, Okoye buffs your card in your deck. Nakia does the opposite, buffs your card in your hand. So you have the cards you need in your hand while you just play your Nakia. It's really good. It's going to get a lot of value. If you hit a Brood, Nakia is basically a 3/6. If you hit Black Panther, Nakia is a 3/5. If you hit Lady Deathstrike, who knows how much value you can have with Nakia hitting our Lady Deathstrike. So next up, we have our Shuri, right? So our Shuri doubles the next card we play here. So basically doubles every single buff that was applied, right? So if we played Okoye on 2, and then we draw the card we needed, and we Nakia on 3, we added 2 plus 1 counter on the card, and then your Shuri is gonna basically double the counter, right? And this is just crazy. If we combo it, if we Okoye on 2, Nakia on 3, Shuri, and then Lady Deathstrike on 5, and then Arnim Zola, and then so your Deathstrike is gonna have. So Okoye is going to bring her to 4, Nakia to 5, Shuri to 10, and then you play it. Lady Deathstrike destroys everything in that lane. Arnim Zola is going to destroy everything. Well, it's going to create 2 copy in the other 2 lane, which is going to destroy everything in those 2 lanes, which is just crazy and probably the most fun pattern in this deck. Next up, we have Absorbing Man. So Absorbing Man, I guess, is in this deck not because of just Lady Deathstrike. So he obviously has a good synergy with Lady Deathstrike because you could play Lady Deathstrike for a 5/3, and then you have your Absorbing Man, which presumably, once again, is probably going to get buffed some way. So is going to be able to play. We're going to be able to play like a second Lady Deathstrike, which actually have like so much more power. Which the benefit from having extra power from Lady Deathstrike is not linear. It's like it's exponential, right? So if you have Lady Deathstrike at 3 power and you have Absorbing Man on 5, it's not. You're going to be able to destroy so much more cards and so much power for just a +2 power to this card. So Absorbing Man is really good with Lady Deathstrike, but obviously it's also really good with Brood. So you play Brood on 3, Absorbing Man on 4, and that's 15 power? 15 power on turn 4 with Absorbing Man, which is crazy. If you can Forge into Brood, into Absorbing Man, you have so much power so quickly in the game, and it's probably power that's not going to be Shang-Chiable. So really, really good pattern here as well. We have Iron Lad. Iron Lad is here because we all have the same good pulls for Absorbing Man. So Iron Lad can hit our Brood, which is really good. Can hit our Lady Deathstrike, which is really good. Even if it hits our Forge or Okoye or Nakia is really good. He can hit our Shuri, is really good. And he can also hit the Black Panther, right? So I forgot to mention, Absorbing Man, obviously you can Black Panther, you can Absorbing Man afterwards, which is 10 power for 4, which is also really freaking good. So we have Lady Deathstrike here. So like I mentioned, we have a lot of plays with Lady Deathstrike. She's a really fun card. Probably deserve a little buff, I would think. But yeah, in this deck with all the different buffs, if you have her at a 5/3 stat line, it's pretty rare you're going to use her unless there's like a Dracula or an Iron Man or something like so. But it's an interesting card. And if you get some buff, she can get a lot of value. She can go out of control pretty quickly. So next up we have Black Panther. Black Panther is really, really, really good with especially the buffs and especially with Arnim Zola. So if you get like a +2 counter because of Okoye, Nakia, or because of Force, or if you have your Shuri, well then, let's say you have a +2, well then it's a 5/6 that goes to 12, that goes to 24 into other lanes with the Arnim Zola. So this is why Arnim Zola is in the deck. It's mostly for the Black Panther, but also for the Lady Deathstrike pattern if we need, and also could also be used sometimes for have it just pushing Magnetos across the board, which is also really good. But yeah, so Arnim Zola is a really good finisher, but you have to like build up your board, build up a combo with the Arnim Zola. And then finally, we have Magneto. Magneto is especially there to deal with, sometimes with Cosmo, you're able to like pull the Cosmo away by playing your Magneto on 5 because you have Electro. So let's say you have Electro. And then on turn 5, you know he's going to play his Cosmo because you're playing Conquest. So you're going to Magneto away, and then he has initiative. The Cosmo drops. Your Magneto pulls the Cosmo away, and then in the last turn, you can drop your Arnim Zola. Right? So that's pretty cool. You can Electro on 3, Black Panther on 4. Magneto pulls the Cosmo on 5 elsewhere, and then Arnim Zola in the Black Panther lane. Boom, you have huge Black Panthers everywhere. And you kind of beated the Cosmo with the Magneto. So, yeah, pretty fun deck. I hope you guys enjoy. Let's jump into a Conquest game, and I'll see you guys there. So we're already in the middle of a Silver Conquest, so we'll jump in from here. Biggest counters to this deck, probably anything with Cosmo. But we have our Magneto, so Magneto is able to pull our Cosmo. Yeah, we have some plays around Cosmo, even though it's our biggest counter. So here we have Forge into Brood, which is really good. So I think we are going to go exactly for that. We are going to play Forge in Machine World because we don't really care about giving him a Forge. So if he's playing like a C3, he can't really play it. The Forge, that is. So I guess we Brood here just in case. Mirror Dimension transform into this space. Throne. Yeah. Yes. Here I think we should just snap. I think. Probably gonna retreat, but we'll take the single cube here. So we are gonna Nakia. Nakia can buff our Deathstrike. So I guess we have to Deathstrike here.
I am Iron Man.
Interesting. I mean, we still have the Black Panther pull, which would be good. But it's a 1 in 3 chance. But he's playing a Zabu list. Not a Zabu, Bast list, so his cards are probably low power. So I think we are going to try it. Hit Black Panther. Hits Shuri, unfortunately. He has Shang-Chi. But that's perfect because it's not a 9 power or above. So we're going to take the first game with a 4 cube advantage, which is pretty good. Pretty good start here. So he actually has an Iron Man, which is just a perfect target for our Lady Deathstrike. We are going to play our Okoye in the cloning vats. So I think here we keep playing our Okoye because we don't have our Deathstrike, but actually we just drew our Black Panther. So maybe, just maybe, we're better off playing Nakia to to bring our Black Panther to like 6. Maybe even 7 if we play another time next turn. So, yeah, I think we're going to play our Nakia. So, Brood has +1 here. Should we play our Nakia another one more time, or should we play our Brood? That's the question. I think we are going to play Nakia once more, and then Black Panther in the Icebox next turn, and hopefully maybe we get an Arnim Zola for the turn 6. No, but with 4 rocks in our deck, this is going to be a tough one. So here, we could as well go for Forge into Brood, which adds 18 power in the Icebox, something like that. And then we could Black Panther for 14 power in one of the other 2 lanes. Or I can vid Forge and then Brood here, which would be a 3/6, which would add 12, and then we could play another Brood in the Icebox next turn, or we just play Black Panther, a 14 power Black Panther into another one. I think this is just better because, if I'm not mistaken, it should give us another 14 power Black Panther, which is going to double again. Ooh, the Cosmo is quite horrible here for us. We have an extra energy, which might help us if we want to play our Forge into Black Panther, or maybe our Forge into Brood into and Okoye. Because we could go for Forge, Black Panther here, or Forge, Brood, Okoye here. So we would like threaten every lane. The right lane we win by a lot, the middle by a bit, and the left by a bit. But if he splits this, well, we know a Dark Hawk is dropping and probably a Rock Slide. So the Dark Hawk will have 16 power. So, yeah, we are going to retreat that. He snapped on turn 6. For a single cube, we're fine with that. All right. So now we got to be careful about the Cosmo. Maybe we could get our Electro on 3. That would maybe help, because we could play our Magneto to move the Cosmo on turn 5. So we know he's playing Darkhawk, right? And he has like an Iron Man. So Onslaught Citadel is unfortunate. We're still in round 3, so we might just retreat here. So it's actually a bounce show for some reason. Okay, here we have to take some risks. So we are going to Shuri into Black Panther to Arnim Zola. 50-50. So he has Bast and Black Widow in hand. And he has So 4 other cards in hand, and 3 of them should have 3 power. Wait, no, he played Bass on turn 1, right? So like 2 more cards, I think, if I'm correct. Isn't that really good for us? If we go for Black Panther here, Iron Lad could have hit Brood. Brood would be great. Lady Deathstrike would be bad. Magneto would be fine. Electro would be bad. Then Okoye Forge would be just normal. So I think the best is actually doing Black Panther here into our Absorbing Man middle. And then we could Arnim Zola left. So he hits us again with the Cosmo. So the Absorbing Man is luckily going to copy the Black Panther. So I think we Iron Lad right. And we hope we hit like Lady Deathstrike or Magneto or Brood. So 3 out of 7 because of rocks. Yep. But we are going to pull the second round. A win in the second round. Or wait, sorry, 4th round, 3rd round. All right. Okoye on 2. That's really good. Niki on 3. No, sorry. Okoye on 2. Electro on 3. So we steal his Iron Man. We are going to Okoye middle. We have Arnim Zola to maybe play something in Luke's bar. He doesn't have anything to play in Luke's bar, but he has his Scarlet Witch to change the location. Electro goes here. So with 5 energy here, do we have any good pulls on Iron Lad? We have Absorbing Man, which would do nothing. Lady Deathstrike, which would kill everything, which is great. Brood is great. Black Panther is great. Magneto's fine. Magneto's does nothing, right? So I think Iron Lad here is our best play, if I'm not mistaken. We could go for Iron Man, but I think we'll just go for the Iron Lad here. And hopefully it's going to hit the Lady Deathstrike. Black Panther is even better, I think. So we're going to play the Widow's Bite, and we are going to Arnim Zola, and hopefully it hits the Iron Lad. So we are going to snap here. We have an advantage, and we have a way to win Luke's bar. And we have a 50-50 chance of just winning. We have initiative, so Cosmo wouldn't work. Nice. So Iron Lad goes to 28. Let's not forget he has a Shang-Chi. Lady Deathstrike would be fantastic. Oh no, it's true we get Black Panther. So Shang-Chi goes right and destroys our Iron Lad, or he could Scarlet Witch to Shang-Chi left. So he's gonna be at 4. Interesting. We could forge into Black Panther here, and then that would be 14 power middle. He has his Zabu, so I'm probably expecting a Dark Hawk and a Shang-Chi, right? So that would be a 14 power Dark Hawk and a 3 power Shang-Chi. I'm expecting Shang-Chi, right? Yeah, I think we might lose this round, but we'll try it. Okay, so he retreats.
Victory.
And then for round 5, we have our Forge and our Nakia and our Shuri. But there's a Mindscape for turn 6. So we'll have to see if we can maybe empty our hand as much as possible. If he plays his Black Widow, we're just never gonna play the bite, the Widow's Bite. So we are gonna play Forge just for the tempo drop. All right. Nothing too special here. Shuri on turn 6 is bad. I guess we are gonna Okoye and we are gonna play the rock for the single power. So unfortunately, we're going to give him a 13 power Magneto for the turn 6. Okay, never mind. Well, this is really good for us. So Iron Lad could hit Lady Deathstrike, could hit Black Panther, Electro Brood, and Absorbing Man. So, here we gotta make sure we have a 3 extra power here. Play here next turn. So Beast a 3/4. So actually, just playing the Magneto is gonna pull the Beast. His Dark Hawk is gonna have 12 or 10 power next turn if he doesn't play Rock Slide, but he doesn't have a Zabu, so he can't really do both next turn. So I think we are gonna Iron Lad middle here. Hopefully he hits Brood. Yes. Okay, so Magneto here, the Beast should move. He might Shang-Chi middle. Destroy our Broodling. But we're also pulling the Dark Hawk and the Beast. He can't really flood the board. He could Cosmo. Yep, Cosmo would be bad here, but if he's... I think he's probably going to play his Shang-Chi middle. And then Magneto is going to make us win basically all 3 lanes if he plays Shang-Chi middle. If he plays Iron Man, we are good. If he plays Cosmo, we lose. So we only lose to Cosmo middle. But normally, he should think we would play left. But if we play left, he would Shang-Chi middle. So yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going to Shang-Chi middle. Shang-Chi's middle. And then Zabu. And then our Magneto is going to pull Beast, and it's going to pull Darkhawk. And yeah, I guess pull Mystique too. And we should win here. All 3 lanes. All right, well, this is going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I think there was a good highlight of the deck. So Lady Deathstrike is not the most high-value card in this deck, but it like pushes a new archetype with the whole like buff everything in your deck, which is really cool with Black Panther. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching again, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys. Take care.